Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. The Federal Reserve, July 30th, 2025. They did one of three things. Nothing at all is the choice. Reduction, oh, yeah, we would have been in a little hyperinflation. Raising would have been the thing for the American people. But it's okay because we're still going to win, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you saw the Meta. You saw NVIDIA. You saw a lot of these trillion-dollar companies moving forward. I could not believe it. I saw 180 briefly for NVIDIA as well. It's a moving day, and I guess the market loves it. You should love it as well. And welcome to the Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. And please share the videos because you never know who's out here looking for information. You should all be looking for information. Tell your friends, tell everybody, because you know why? The Fed actually helps you, but you have to differentiate yourself. Remember, you got to be an emerging millionaire. Do not think like an employee, giving your money to a 401k, letting them give you 8, 9, 10% a year and thinking you're good. And they're not actually giving it to you because normally all it is that the S&P 500 or the index fund that they invested in went up 8, 9, 10, 11%. That's it. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, you got to be in the game. And oh, by the way, there's something we're going to have to talk about, but let's get on with the Federal Reserve. Let me know what you guys are thinking when Jerome Powell stepped up to the mic and said, we're not going to do anything. And how do you like when he checked off? Oh, man, I loved it. I love the little gangster move. Close the laptop. See you in September. Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen, because he knows what's coming. Everybody here in the SSN Nation, you guys know what's coming. We already talked about it. You got 1 year, 5 months left to go to get everything in order. Buy those assets that pay you and make sure your credit is getting to be 775 or more. You got 1 year, 5 months because this rocket ship ride is going to keep going as long as you're in the game. That's the stock market game. So I just want to let you know, make sure you let people know, your friends, your family know that the game is still on and it's going to be on. You have to be in the game. Why are you going to lose out on free money? Oh, yes, we'll get into some free money plays because we are going to go to Global News Wire and see what YieldMax ETF is going to give us. You know what? On Friday. That's right. Dividends come out on Friday for YieldMax ETF and the weekly and the monthly. So, of course, we're all waiting on another week of the salsa dance. And quite frankly, I already looked. And those people that have SMCI and MSTY, you will be doing the salsa dance. There is no recessionary numbers for you other than when we go shopping. But don't worry, you're going to make up for it on the other end, right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me know. Let me make sure that the mic check is good. Let me know that you guys are doing good because here we go. Post-retirement travel. He's in the house. He's here. Mr. Worldwide is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. I know. Let me hear from you what you think about this little rocket ship attempt. There's no attempt. Let me know what you think about holding on the rocket ship for this nice ride for the next year, year and a half. All right. He brings his tagline. Hello, all. Let's do this. That's what we do here. We help you, ladies and gentlemen. Did you guys pay attention? This is Wealthy Wednesday night live stream, Financial Friday night live stream, Money Making Monday. You have a year and a half to make a lot of history on the backs of the rich. Because remember, the top 10% of the rich owns 93% of the stock market. So we got to ride along. And how can you just sit on the sidelines knowing Nvidia is just going to keep going? And Meta, again, Facebook, they joined the $1 trillion club again. This is what we're talking about. We told you the big boys were going to dance. You have to be with the big boys, whether you're going to get a VOO and ETF that you're not into stocks individually. You can go to VOO, VOOG, VTI, VGT, any one of those four. Or you can just buy the individual stocks and take the ride of a lifetime. DIM pals, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Another investor's here enjoying the free money. Let's get that free money is exactly right, because DIM pals has also joined the ride. He's holding on to the reins. He's sitting there going, take me to the moon. Oh, yes, let's keep going. That's how we're doing it, ladies and gentlemen. The rocket ship is continuing to take off. That's why the Federal Reserve had to do nothing. Mission accomplished. All right, Meta, MSFT. That's exactly right. Exploded. Market went vertical at 4 p.m. I am loading up. Tired of winning yet? Hell no. We told you you guys are going to win for a year and a half at least. We want you prepared, though, because we always put you in position. Talk to them post-retirement travel. 2 years we've been letting you guys know about all of this activity that's been going. The rocket ship ride. We've been telling you, get in the game. No matter what, get in the game. Now here we are again. It just keeps going and going and going. Federal Reserve is doing what they need to do based on what the government's doing. But we know for sure the rich guys win in their casino. So we just have to tag along for the ride. All right. EV Place, another investor is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. A lot of excitement is in the air. All right. Let's see what his tagline says this evening. Good evening, everyone. Let's celebrate 13.65% up on SMCY in the last week. He knows. I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. I know what DIM Pals is saying, because DIM Pals is using YieldMax ETFs in the option trading business. And just like you said, EV Place, last week, SMCY is at $65 a share. I could have sworn I saw $69 a share. Talk about crazy. The option market would love that type of movement. So once again, thank you for mentioning it. And oh, by the way, the dividend is coming out. It's over. Wait, hold on. Is it $1? Or yes, I think it is $1. We're going to have to look at it. I think it's $1 something. And then MSTY is under $1, I believe. So we're going to bring this up shortly, because once again, you want to earn 50%, 30%, 60% or more in distributions while your stock price stays the same or goes higher. SMCY is YieldMax ETF. SMCI, the run is not over for them. It went from 17, ladies and gentlemen. It's up to over 60 now. Yes, we were there just a few months ago where people were saying, do you think 17 is a good price point to buy? Yes, it was. There we go. See, ladies and gentlemen, you never know what information can help you, right? So we have to get excited out here. I do, especially when we're helping everybody that we can find that's watching these live streams, that's watching this video, even on replay. If you have any comments to make, put them down below in the description, no, message box. All right. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I didn't already cue it up, but I am going to go to I didn't Yilmax ETF distribution July no August wait is that August 1st? August 1st, 2025. Okay. Let's go see what we have. Yeah, tomorrow's the 31st and it's August 1st. There we go. All right, let's go see what the gods say. And oh, by the way, if you have not shared the video already, have not subscribed to the channel, please do click the all notification bell. Let's see what we have. It looks like, yes, 14 hours ago. This is looking beautiful. Like I said, already got a sneak peek because I know it comes out every Wednesday. Global news. They tell you the release. Here it is. The ones that count this week. We are sticking with the AI option, AYY, 18 cents, still at 58% distribution. Gotta love it. AMZY, still at a 50% distribution, giving off 64 cents per share. APLY with his Apple is at 40% distribution. They're giving off 41 cents. MSTY, yes, $1.18 per share, down from $1.24, I believe, last month, or 22, it's something like that. But it's still distribution 75.67, and the stock price is staying steady. SMCY, $1.85 with a 100% distribution, and the stock price staying near the same. I love it. I hope you love it. Then we have people are shorting MSTR, but that's an WNTRY. WNTR, that's $1.65. Then we have XYZ, which I that seems to be pretty good. It's at 67 cents at 82% distribution. And then if you're shorting the NASDAQ 100, you're going to only be at 16.9%, but 17 cents per share. All right. Now, the weeklies, they're giving out around the same that they always do. So there's no big surprises there. YMAG is less than usual at 7.5 cents. And Y Max is a little more than usual at 16 cents versus 15 or 14. So there's a trade off if you have all of them, but it's okay. Y Mag drops to 25% distribution. We can live with that as long as your stock price is higher. We're appreciating. That's good. And getting 25% distribution, I'll still take it because you guys know we want 20. We want 20 or more percent return. That's the idea. If you can get 40, better. If you can get 50, better. But it's going to get dicey. But we're in early, ladies and gentlemen. All right, post-retirement travel. SMCY keeps killing it. $1.85 dividend payment up from last month. This ETF is a beast, yes. And what I love is the appreciation of the stock price too. A little elevated, so we're actually getting the full distribution, which makes it a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. All right. Hold on. I got somebody calling me. Makes it a beautiful thing. We can't miss out on this, ladies and gentlemen, or you can't. We have a head start on you. By the way, you know what I got to do? I have to do a few things here. I'm going to do I got to put, well, hold on. Let me see. What am I going to do here? I'm going to put Tracy at resolve because then I can get the Robinhood, Webull, and Moomoo apps. If you haven't gotten your free shares of stock, I suggest you get these apps down below. Once I load them in, so far it's taken its sweet time. I know why, because I'm putting on the screen the Yilmax ETFs, of course. No love. That's funny. No love. Funny as hell whenever I do that. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. Here we go. All right. All right. Just a second before we get this all together. All right. That'll help with your credit down below. If you need to restructure your credit, not file bankruptcy, that'll be down below. Hit up Tracy at Resolve Finance. You'll see her email address down there. And then below that will be Webull, Robinhood, and Moomoo. So you can download their apps, get your free shares of stock, depending on their promotion, and that'll help you. And then we have Wealthfront down below, which is doing very, very well for all of you who just want to set it and forget it. You could put some money into Wealthfront, $500, six, seven, 800, 2,000, 4,000, anything under 5,000 to start with. They manage at no cost, no expense paid until you reach 5 grand or more. So if you put 5 grand or more in, then obviously you're going to pay the little 0.95% annually. But since they invest in the big boys, you're going to get your usual 12, 13, 14%, whatever it's been year over year. That's what you will get. And unfortunately, the longer you wait, the rocket ship has already started. So you can imagine 3 months ago, I keep using this example because we were talking about it on the live stream. When EV Place was here, we were talking about NVIDIA. And during the day, NVIDIA dropped to, I believe, I was talking about $88 a share. And I think he said it dropped to 87 in the morning. So somebody could have bought it under $88 a share. And now it went to 180 today. Almost $100 per share. Pretty damn close for every share you own. And can you imagine somebody getting 5 or 6 shares and getting an extra $600 in a matter of 4 months? This is rare, yes. It's not always, but we know the rocket ship is going. Meta, Microsoft, Facebook, all of them are going, along with the chip stocks, like the TSM that we talked about before. I always call it TSMC. But we are talking about this. This has been a thing. You guys have to prepare yourself. You never know who's going to be the messenger that can help you out. You have to do your own research out here. You want to join the big boys, you want to bomba, you want to make sure that you have financial freedom in the future. Usually this would take years because you don't have the opportunity up until a few years ago where you would be able to make get a distribution of 50%, 40% of even 100. NVIDIA is an actual stock. This is rare, right? Because there's a chip and AI thing going on, which you have to ride the wave, right? So you can't get left behind. But I'm referring to these option income trading stocks where all of a sudden you're getting 40, 50, 60, 70, 80% returns annually. That, if you can just get that in just a couple of years, that helps you out so much versus just a 10% or 8%. That would take you 4 years just to catch up. So if you can get that 2 years in a row, which we can do, the rocket ship is going to last for about 2 years. So again, get in the game. All right, down below in the description box. You guys know what it is. All right, here we go. Let me see if I can get this now on screen. Hopefully this is going to be better. The rocket ship ride's going. Check your mailbox. Hold on. What's this? Check your, yes, right before the live stream, I logged in early and I did check, man. Feet is another beast at 1.44 dividend per share. Yes, it is. But unfortunately, the price is 36 per share. I know, but I mean, what can you do? You have to love NVDY, also a lot cheaper at 17, paying over $1 dividend per share. Exactly. That's why you have to have all of them, ladies and gentlemen. You have to have the stock and NVDA. You would be balling out. If you had NVDY, you're giving dividends that NVIDIA itself, the stock NVIDIA, does not give you. And you're keeping the appreciation because they're going to reach 200. It's going to reach 250. You know what's going to happen at the end of this year. You know the feds are going to reduce the interest rate, even if they said we're going to increase it in September, because inflation will go higher. I don't see how they're not going to have a choice. But we will see if I'm going to be Nostradamus or not. All right, let's see how we do here. because again, feet is also magical. Let's go. Here we go. Check this out. See, CHPY, semiconductor portfolio, giving out 41 cents per share. I wish they put the share price in here. That would be awesome. You know what I just noticed? I never even noticed this. This is cool. This whole time, it shows me the whole page. Beautiful. All right. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The weeklies and the distribution rate. Again, this is not a yield. The reason why they use distribution rate, in case you're not familiar with yield max ETF, is they do option income trading. So what they're doing is like they're using, like, you have to go look it up, but let's just say they're doing AI and tech. So they could actually have NVIDIA, and then they can have an AI company directly. Then they, and then they do the option income trading, the fees, the premiums, and everything. And then they give us the distribution for it. So as you can see, most people would love to get 30% return in a year, right? 31 cents per share. So if you had 100 shares, then you have $31.52 coming to buy, reinvest, buy some more shares. It's pretty simple. The NASDAQ 100 is at 65% covered call, which is pretty decent, 47 cents per share. I don't know what that stock is trading at, but you can see. And then you have these monthlies, but every Friday, the weeklies are distributed. And every Friday, the 4 weeks is distributed. So next 4 weeks, there'll be different shares of stocks. You can see down here at the bottom. The Berkshire, the Crash, the Feet, which is coming next week, GOO, which is Google, the Ozark, the Snow, the Tesla, the TSMY, the XOMO, and YBit, which is the crypto. All are going to be distributing. So if you get those before next week, either before next Wednesday, then you will have distribution of the dividends, whichever ones they're sending out. But don't forget the weeklies. Those are important. Look at these weeklies. Look at this, 85% for the ULTY, which is incredible. 10 cents, 7 cents for the 25. That dropped because this is below norm. It's usually 9 cents, 10 cents. But that one drop brings it down to 25%. But I believe a lot of people are going to be fine with 25%. So now you understand 10% is meh. All right. So let me know what you guys think about this. I think this is pretty sweet. Once again, another week. We get to do the salsa dance. Everybody's happy. We're sitting here ecstatic. All right. Now, let's get back into the Federal Reserve. Let me know what you guys think about them keeping the rates, doing nothing. Let me give you guys some numbers. The GDP went to 3%. A lot of people, I have to put it because in my sphere, the guys who are on the Trump train, that's a cheerleader, instead of calling it balls and strikes like an umpire, the cheerleaders hit me up. What do you think? This is awesome. We told you everything he was doing was right. I said, I said, uh, do you understand how the GDP is actually calculated? And they're just like, so what? I said, no, it's not so what. Once you understand how it's calculated, you should start worrying a little bit. First of all, the inflation rate, the month hasn't went out yet, but it's going to be 3%, 3.1% is estimated inflation rate, up from 2.7, 2.9%. They're talking 3.1, 3.5%, which is why I said that the Jerome Powell and the chairman of the boards, they should have increased their federal funds rate, because inflation is at 3% or above. It's not at 2, but it's okay. But let me explain, because there's a lot of people that don't know the GDP calculation. It's spending. So let me start it off. If you do tax cut, tax breaks, and people start spending, we know who has the money, the big boys. Business investments is a big one. So people may notice when Trump goes around and he talks these trade deals, right? What does he always say? Pay attention. This country agreed to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in business investment in the United States. Remember, he makes a big to do about that because you add that together along with consumer spending. Spending is not good. So when we lose 10%, I'll make it simple. $100. We now can buy, because the dollar lost 10% over the last 6 months. The value, hidden inflation. Whatever we could buy for $100, we can only buy for $90. We lost 10%. All right. So when I go to buy groceries, I'm going to be paying $110. So even if I buy the same amount, guess what? Consumer spending goes up because we're paying more. So it's artificial for all of those two numbers that I just gave you. Those are calculations. And you know what else? When people say tariffs don't matter, they do matter when you're calculating GDP. Because guess what? You subtract exports, United States exports, minus imports. And if we put up barriers such as tariffs, we will not have that much imports coming. So now when we export numbers are higher than the import numbers, we are going to subtract a higher number. So that gives us a higher GDP. All right, here you go. So that's why it jumps to 3. What's going to happen though when this consumer spending, the minus 10% stays at minus 10? Consumer spending stays the same, right? Let me do this. I'm going to do this. Let me do this. I'm going to bring this up on the screen because I'm missing one more thing. But the point is, the numbers are skewed because of the tariffs and the pause and what the effects of the imports and exports have. All right. So let me see if I can find it. Let's see. We got to talk about USA. Okay. They're using NX on here. All right. Oh, and by the way, the other spending was government spending. Government spending has increased. So if we have government spending increase because of why? We have people running around picking up people, right? Kidnapping them. So if you have all that government expenditure going out, spending, businesses or they're calculating people saying we're going to give America $500 billion for investments. Then you have consumers spending more money. You have less imports coming in to go with the calculation. I will show you guys. Let me do it this way. This is not the one I want, but hell, you guys are smart. Here's the calculation. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's get to it. I don't want you guys out here falling for the okey dokes. All right. So we can't fall for this. So here's one formula. They use it a little differently, though, that I'm accustomed, but they say C, which is consumptions, plus I, which is investments, plus G, which is government spending. We know government spending's up. We know investments up. We know consumption's up. So therefore, all of those are added together. But here's the kicker. The NX, by subtracting a country's imports from its exports. If exports exceeds imports, net exports are positive, contributing to the GDP. So when they're out here doing this tariff thing, you are actually making sure our export number overrides the import number. So you artificially boost the GDP because you're adding all three together and you're spending money, which costs taxpayers money. We're broke. Consumption, this includes all spending of household goods and services, such as groceries, clothing, healthcare, and entertainment. You start adding all that up after there's inflation, that's going to be a monster. And then instead of switching it around where normally we would have had more imports to reduce the GDP, we do not now. And therefore, artificial numbers. So while we're sitting here talking, our currency's being devalued, and we have new tariffs coming in a few days. So imports are going to be less in the United States, and the spending, where are we going to get the money? It's more printing, which means inflation has to go up, and we're devaluing our currency. So again, yes, the GDP number went up, but now you know how it went up, ladies and gentlemen. This is not what you want. But if we're doing the rocket ship ride, holding on tight, we're with the smile on our face. 1 year, 5 months to go, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Also, you need to have AIPI. This is another high yield dividend ETF from Rex shares, exactly, that have consistently paid over $1.25 dividend per share for over a year. Average dividend pay over 135. This one is a new one. Let's go look. AIPI. I'm not familiar with this one. It looks like, are we talking about $12 or $13 annually for a $30 stock? That's like 40%. $43 stock. It's a Rex shares. Okay, we're not mad at Rex shares, are we? No, we're not. They don't give the dividend rate. But if you're still, 34.8% distribution. Again, ladies and gentlemen, nobody's mad at any of these. If you can get 34%, if you can get 30% 2 years in a row, you would be happy. 60% in 2 years, you would be very happy. That takes you a long way fast. And if you can get higher than that, which you can, because you can do other stocks that are higher than 30%. So you could have like what is that, a Y Max? That's, or an SMCY actually is on pace to do over 100%. So even if it did 80, because it can fluctuate, even if it did 80, you're going to be happy. That's almost like doubling your money, pretty close. Especially if you reinvest, you're almost doubling your money instead of taking money out. So it's going to be very good payday on Friday for this week for everybody holding MSTY, SMCY, AIY, or I think it's AIYY. It's going to be crazy. Well, there goes another one, ladies and gentlemen. This is why you need your pen, pads, and papers ready. All right. So stay tuned. And by the way, the GDP numbers that are like this, the only thing that happens is it helps those who are investors. The people at the bottom, it's not that good. In fact, remember, you know what happened? I was listening to YouTube today, and a guy started talking about something I've never heard of. He started talking about the Cantillon effect. So I go look up the Cantillon effect. And it's similar to what I've been saying. Yesterday's money is not tomorrow's money. Therefore, you should have a business so you get today's money, because the profits you receive a year from now is actually with the inflation, with everything. So it means more to you later than it does now. And now you can pay back your debt. So that's why the United States has this policy of, well, we don't care about paying our debt, because 10 years from now, $1 trillion isn't 1 trillion. The currency has been devalued. So it costs you less to pay back the 1 trillion in effect. So anyhow, the Canlon effect is something along these lines. And I was like, I can't believe it. There was something called this the whole time that I've been actually sitting here explaining for 5, 6 years. I could not believe it. It says something to the effect like when we do tax cut tax breaks and the rich get money, they say the closer you are to the money source, which is the federal government, the more efficient you are, and you are the one that gets the bulk of the money. The rest of the money has to exchange hands, and that goes down lower, like you work some at an employee, right? So there's a trickle down, there's a level, and so you get less. So if you get 100% up here, by the time you go to the third or fourth level, that efficiency is lower, so it's like 40 or 50%. That's the way I'm saying it, but they say it a different way. But all I'm saying is it's like a trickle down. And I said, that's what I've been explaining this whole time. If you can't get new money clear at the top, then you're down here at the bottom. And now yesterday's price is not going to be tomorrow's price. Tomorrow's price is always going to be higher. There's no way around it. You cannot escape. That's why you have to have a business bringing in. You can't. Let me explain something else. There's retirees. This is why retirees have a problem. If you retire and you're like, let's say 60 years old, and you're getting, let's say, this is what's already happened to people that retired in the early 2000s. They had checks that were like $3,000 a month, right? So they were good. Homes were 120 grand or something, 200 grand. So their mortgage payments were 600, 700. Their insurance for the house was 800. So they were like, okay, I got a $3,000 check coming. So no big deal. It only cost me like $1,200, $1,500 to live with $1,500 left over for the month. Well, see what happens is all of a sudden the insurance goes up, your property tax goes up, your energy bill goes up, the groceries go up, and now that $3,000 a month, no, I mean, yeah, $3,000 a month holds no weight. Now you're spending damn near $3,000 a month. You're getting closer. So now they're saying, well, wait a minute, I only have $500 left over now. I guess I better go out and get a job, even though I'm 70. I need a part-time job because now I got to get some insurance add-ons, pay deductibles. So now it's not as crisp and easy. That's what people keep forgetting. And now we're in a hyper situation. This is no longer your moms and dads and grandmothers 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, where homes only went up like 1 or 2% a year, and inflation pretty much was 2%, 1%. That's over. So they could live 20 years with a $3,000 or $2,500 retirement money's coming in because the prices barely moved. I mean, we're talking basically like what happened the first 6 months of this year is what happened for them over 10 to 12 years. So you could save money. You could put your money in the stock market and be like 9%. Thank you. Because you're making 7% more annually on whatever you invested. And in the stock market, 8, 9, 10, 11% on average increase. So you were doing great. But now 8, 9, 10% increase ain't going to help you. That's not going to help you at all. Your property tax and insurance is probably going to go up more than 8, 9, 10% by itself. Your car payments or your car insurance, your HOA fees. They're going to go up more than 10%, more than likely. I mean, this is crazy. Your rent, if you rent and you get a renewal, they're probably going to raise your rate more than 10%. So no longer can you live on this. Now I'm just going to earn 10% and call it a day while I'm retired. That ain't going to work. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Federal Reserve has spoken. What do you think about that? I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? What do you guys think? The Federal Reserve, was their choice good? Do you think what they were doing was great? What do you think? I want to hear from you guys. And oh, by the way, if anybody's into automotive speaker systems and you want one of the most awesome systems because you need power, is one component to making a nice system. But number two, you got to spin for the gauge, got to have the right gauge, the right connectors. If you want one of them, show cars and put in the nice speaker systems, or you just want to have the nice speaker system, but you don't want to spend dealer prices. You don't want to sit there and be like, hey, I need 1,000 extra watts. And they're like, oh, yeah, what, another 4 or 5 grand. Well, we have somebody here, EV Place, makes some actual power for you to power your car system without running off of the battery. Can you believe that? 700-watt systems. I'm just going to have you guys go to his eBay. Go check it out. 700 crispy watts, and he can actually bump it up even more than that. And we're talking about clean because he's using EV. How about that? EV. All right. He's using clean energy to power up the 700 plus watts, and your car recharges it. It lasts an hour when you shut your car down. So, for all you show guys, that's cool. Hit them up. You see me put it down here in the description box, or not in the description box. I put in the chat room so you guys can see it. I don't want anybody missing out. I know we have people that, if you're an investor, then you have toys. Some people like cars. Some people like their sound system in their cars. Some people like golfing. Some people like going to sporting events. Everybody's different on their thing, especially investors. Another guy's doing like me, motorcycle riding, right? It all depends. Everybody has their thing. Some people are down at the track with the ride, with the car. From 1965 car to a new car, Porsche GT3. You never know, right? So everybody has their thing. Oh, see, here we go. DIM Powell says my property tax went up $1,300 this past month. Jesus Christ. This is what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. $1,300. Sheesh. See, this is going to continue. So whether that's annually or whether that's monthly, it does not matter. That's an extra $110 per month, somewhere around there. So this is what the problem is. And then, of course, we have the car insurance that's coming. Then, of course, you have the property taxes. That's happened here. Then you have the home insurance coming. These guys, I told you guys last week, $381,000 home. The guys wanted $5,200 for property insurance, but you had to include a car. So actually, it was going to end up being $6,000 something, $600 a month, a little under, for home insurance in 2025. For a home that's not even the average price, $380,000. I know why. You know why. The cost of repairs are off the charts. That's why. Due to inflationary situations, it costs a hell of a lot to live, so everybody raises their prices accordingly because they're getting today's money. They're not getting yesterday's money. So all the people that would do the repair, the materials that are being sold, all have went up accordingly. So when somebody says, I'm going to do 25% tariffs on steel, well, that's great. Because when Alcoa says we can't produce enough steel, we have to import it in order to fulfill our orders for shipping around the world, that's a problem. That means any steel is going to cost more money, whether it's going to be 30% more or whether it's just going to be 10 to 15% more. Either way, it's going up. So now, if you need steel, which a lot of people do with rebarbs and any other steel that you're going to put into a home or a rehab, prices going up. Aluminum, prices going up. See, this is a cause and effect. So again, I started off. This is why the Federal Reserve had to say, Neil, I'm sorry, we can't reduce rates. We know inflation is 3%. That's going to come out. They have the numbers. They already came out, and that's how I know the numbers. Jerome Powell slipped me the note. 3.1 is what they're projecting interest to be for the month of June, year over year from 2024. Can you believe that? So again, I slipped them back the note. You're going to raise the interest rate, right? Because when it was around 3% for Biden, you did raise it, right? That was your whole thing. You said we got to get down to 2.0 or close enough. 2.3 would have cut it. 2.2 would have cut it, but we didn't get down. We were at 3.1. We got to raise the rate. But he says, no, no, no. We're just going to let it chill. He said, we want to see what's going to happen after these August 1st comes and see what the markets do and what happens with our employment numbers. And I was like, what do you think is going to happen with the employment numbers? Come on. We're investors out here. It's not rocket science. What do you think is going to happen? All right. Let's go. EV Plays. Thank you, Eric. No problem, man. Hey, you never know who's watching this on replay, even though we don't do cars. Even though I used to every now and then when the C8, Corvette C8 came out. That car was unusual because it was a mid-engine car, the first time an American car maker really, went all in. So I went around to go check it out. It was nice. But again, I have this policy. How do you sell a car that's made in America for $52,000 and then because it's a hot car, the dealer goes, we're not selling that for 52. It's going to be 65 to the highest bidder here, folks. I was like, have you lost your mind right now? For a car? Seriously, I'm old school. I'm not that guy. I'd rather just go out and buy a used car if I'm going to spend that kind of money. That's crazy to me. Even to this day, I can't fathom spending $100,000 for a brand new car that's going to depreciate when I drive off the lot. That's insane. That's insane. All right, 3K per month. You're living paycheck to paycheck here in Florida with that. Exactly. That's exactly right. Especially with family. You're talking extreme basic living, no luxury living, forget vacations. You got that right. That's 36 grand a year. 20 years ago, you were good. In Florida, you were good. You're good in the whole Southeast. You could do that. Homes, your house note was 600 a month or 400 a month with insurance. I mean, sheesh. Property taxes, $100 a month. I mean, you were good. You were good. You'd have like $2,000 left over, but not anymore. Not anymore. 20 years changes everything. This is what you have to think about now. When you're 40, 50 years old, you have to keep thinking, where is the United States economy going? Well, we're a declining empire. That means inflation numbers are going to kick. We just don't know when. Well, I kind of have an idea, but like I said, I think it's about 2.5 years. But I need you guys to be ready at 1 year, 5 months. And inflationary situation is going to continue to rise. And because we owe money. we have to print money in order to do anything. And now I'm seeing these clowns on in our government saying $600 uh, stimulus checks, for the lack of a better word. I'm like, $600 isn't going to do anything. Sure, people will take it, but 600 times how many millions of people, and who's going to pay for it? We're broke. The United States is broke. So in order to print that money, we owe 4.4% because they're going to print it off of whoever invests in America on bonds. So now it costs 4.4% interest only in order to pay this out, which increases our deficit. I'm like, this is not a thing. This is crazy right now. So you know an implosion is going to occur. You just don't know when. But I'm guessing sometime between 20, what is this, 2025? 2 years is 2027. Yeah, so I'm thinking sometime 2027, 2028, somewhere in there, things are going to get awfully dicey. So you better have your bank account offshore. You better have a business or a something where you can turn something into a business offshore outside of the United States. Because this is, if you do not have a stock market, and you do not have, if our stock market levels or goes down, whatever the case may be, if that happens and now people don't want to invest in America, then that means our debt starts to become unmanageable. And it's already unmanageable. It's just that nobody's called us. The rest of the world is still believing everything's okay, kind of. So they're still buying bonds. But one day they could say, we're not buying bonds anymore. It's too risky. And then we're going to be on hyperinflation because we're going to be printing money not based on receiving bond money, but just out of thin air. And you're going to add to this money supply. It's going to be crazy. All right. So you heard it here first. Sometime in 2027, 2028, there's going to be trigger points. And for everybody who did not invest and get this money over the last 2-3 years, and you're going to have to make decisions, either keep it in there or withdraw to preserve it. But you better have something outside of the United States. Bank accounts, everything. And the reason I'm going to say the bank accounts, you're not going to like this, ladies and gentlemen. Let me ask you something. Remember when we were talking about banks steal money, right? Well, okay, if you're new here, maybe you don't know. Banks steal money. They siphon money from people's accounts. They just try to keep it hush hush. Executives are doing this. The bank employees are doing this, and it's a few 100,000 people a year from the different banks. Somebody siphons 1 million here, 600,000 there, 200,000 there. It goes on and on. It adds up. But how about this new thing? Our president is trying to push. This is unforgivable. That 401ks can be used by the private sector. Your money in a 401k, he's trying to do an executive order, not something that Congress is going to do. Congress would never do this. They're going to try and use our retirement money in a 401k and go play around. We saw how this ended in 2008 and 9. Do you really want private sector being able to use? And by the way, that would be $12 trillion. Okay? Do you see where this is going? Making sure the rich stay rich. This isn't helping ordinary citizens because all it takes is these guys doing what they do. It's not their money. It's your money. They blow it up, and then the bank bails them out. Just like in 2007, 8, and 9. The United States government bails them out. They didn't bail you out. Same things, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want them messing around with 401k money. I don't want them messing around with anybody's retirement money, putting it into the private sector and allowing them to trade stocks or do whatever, who knows what with it. Use it against assets under management. We have 3 trillion assets under management. Can I get a $1 trillion loan? I don't want that. Are we serious right now? I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, this is why this is going downhill. This is going even faster than anybody could imagine if they do this. This would be a total. This is like them raiding the Social Security fund. This is like them taking the Medicaid and Medicare funding and the veterans funding and putting it into some other BS like they've done. This is what this is. I mean, you could wake up and be like, where's my money? Imagine if that happens, what risk you would have. That would be, oh my God. Talk about the last bastion. First, they're messing with Social Security. Then they're messing with your medical, Medicare, Medicaid. Now they're going to try and mess with your 401k to intentionally make everybody at risk on everything. Your health, your retirement savings, and risk if you keep money in a bank. That's insane, ladies and gentlemen. All right. PA told me, DIM Pals, there is no more tax credits or reductions for my property tax. And they said I have to eat the cost. That's correct. That's correct. Because the Federal Reserve, not the Federal Reserve, the federal government. Remember what's happened. I keep trying to tell you guys what this guy that's running at the helm along with his buddies, they're basically stripping everything from Americans and lining their pockets. This is insanity what's happening. Oh my God. Yeah, so when they say we're not going to give out federal funds to states, they mean it. The people in New Mexico, Texas, Missouri, Oklahoma, they're getting no federal funding. FEMA's like nowhere to be found. They mean it. North Carolina, from the floods, 8 months ago, they're still waiting. California, the Malibu fires, no, not coming. This is American citizens. They would rather line the pockets. This is why there's going to be an implosion. But you know what? You're going to have to ride the wave with these guys. If you can't sit on the sidelines and watch the parade go by and wave and put your money in a safe. You put your money in a safe, you're losing the buying power. You lost 10% already this year, 10.7% to be exact, already this year. Plus 3% inflation now year over year. So now you've actually lost 14% buying power. And actually, if you had food and energy, it's even higher. But the point I'm trying to make is you can't let your duffel bag of cash sit too long. You have to deploy the army. We used to be able to leave our duffel bag of cash alone. No, not no more. You have to play the game. Take the risk and pay attention. Put some alerts on. Like right now, speaking of alerts, I'm probably going to put some alerts on NVIDIA. I never thought about it, but now that I'm thinking about it, I might as well start putting alerts on there to sell if it went like 40% or 30% drop or something without me knowing. Something along that line, because there's no way you don't want to give up any gains these days, any significant. You don't mind dips because you'll be like, okay, it's going to come back. But in 1 year, 5 months from that point on, it's on strict maneuvers. It's like anything drops 20%, you're going to sell it. I'm going to sell it because we've already grown like over 100. So why am I going to let it drop 50%, have some crazy market fluctuation? Because that's what's going to happen. We don't have the money, ladies and gentlemen. That's incredible, man. Eat it. Yeah, I know. I've had to do the same thing. They're like, oh, no, you're not getting exemptions. This is in Georgia. They're going, you can't get exemptions. Cali, you can't get exemption. I'm just like, what is wrong with you guys? I know what's wrong with them. They're like, we're not getting no money. We're planning for the future. We might not have any federal money coming in. So no, we're not going to help you. They're like, you got to be like 70, whatever they said, man. It was crazy. They used to have exemptions if your children weren't in school, like elementary or high school. They used to have exemptions. No, we're not giving that. I'm just like, you guys, man. So it's an epidemic. It's everywhere because the funds aren't coming. And by the way, the other side of the coin is if you live in a state and your state services are going away because you don't get the federal funding. So I mean, you can see where this is going. So you have to be the rich guys. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. DIM Pals, where's the property again? It sounds like it's in Pennsylvania. By the way, is your insurance pushing you for new roof? Oh man, yeah, they're starting to do that here in Georgia too. Some insurance companies have inspectors coming to check your roof before renewals. Big hit. Yeah. Can you believe post retirement travel? I don't know. While you were away, man, if you knew before you left that they're actually doing satellite images to check people's roofs and then telling people your insurance is going up or they're canceling them. And in the case in San Diego, the roof was not shown, it was solar panels on the roof. And they canceled the person's insurance after they've been with them for 20 years. Never missed a payment, always on time, never filed a claim. But they said they would not renew them because of a satellite photo and it looked like their roof was something wrong with their roof. And they're like, what are you talking about? We have solar panels on our roof. You couldn't have saw our roof. What do you mean? Oh, well, we don't really care. We're not going to renew you. Crazy stuff. That's what they're doing. Forget the inspector. Satellite images to cancel people. And now you're at risk because you have no insurance. Is this funky BS crazy? This is what declining empire looks like. People don't realize what the Roman Empire is the prime example. 1,000 years, that's a long time. But the same situation, every empire, Chinese empire, the Ottoman Empire, the Persian Empire, they're all the same. This is why there has been previous world currency. Britain, they were around the world. Spain, France, everybody goes down because everybody does the same thing America's doing. Still trying to put up a military might, spending all your money on that instead of helping your people in advance. Perfect example is how America was after World War II. Manufacturing facilities, infrastructure, nice paying jobs. Perfect. Same things. Downhill. So who's going to be the next world currency holder potentially? Well, the only one that's around that's even close is China. And then that would be in the hands of the communist country. What they do to their citizens, they're probably going to do to the rest of the world. They'll be like, we got your money at our banks. We got your money. We can turn off the flow. So if you don't do this, we won't give you your money. I mean, this could get real interesting. And nobody from the NATO countries want China to have world currency. The Federal Reserve knows this. That's why they have to dance. See, you guys have to understand. Remember, the Federal Reserve is independent. They're not a federal agency. That's why I can't believe we actually had a senator try to sue the Federal Reserve. And I was automatically like, to do something. I was like, they're not part of government. You don't have no rights. And of course, The court said, sorry, you can't do that. They're independent agency. So I'm like, good God, does people in government don't even know how our government runs? This was insane. But they're separate. So they have assets under management. People may not realize this. The Federal Reserve isn't what you think it is. They have assets under management. They're holding equities, they're holding stocks. They have a stock desk. They're buying equities with our money, with the money they're printing. This is so to boost up the economy, but it's in their house. So they have every reason to make sure stocks go up. That's why they do what they do. So once you realize what their function is, that they're not actually part of the government, bipartisan, they're actually bankers. They need to make their Federal Reserve money. So if that means I got to buy up 1 million shares of Apple to keep their price right, we're doing it. If that means I got to buy $100 million worth of Nvidia, we're doing it. They're holding equities. So they have every benefit for the stock to go up. This is why when they know that Trump's saying, I want to reduce the Federal Reserve rate, this is why they're like, hell no. This is going to cause a freaking hyperinflation. We don't want that. We'll just stick here, close my laptop, see you in September. That's the appropriate answer. See you in September, because after whatever happens this next 2 or 3 months happens, all of that's going to play out for us to then make a decision. And if we do have hyper-esque inflation where it goes 3%, then 3.5%, then 3.5, oh no, there'll be an emergency meeting. There'll be an emergency meeting because these guys aren't going to watch a meltdown. They're going to like, hold on, man. We're going way in the opposite direction. So if something happens between where we at, August coming up, August, September, 2 months from now, if something happens in the month of August, don't be these guys will step in if something starts going off the rails after August 1st when the tariffs, if they come in, and they're going to see some stuff within a week or two. They'll be like, hold up. You guys see this? It just moved from 3.1 to 3.9, 3.7. Now we add the food and energy. It's at 4.3. Oh, hell no. He's messing up our equities. See, this is what you guys have to remember. They're part of this. That's why you have to be with them. You can't be on the sidelines. Brian P., he's in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Mr. Dividends here. All right. Very happy to see you. He's the master investor, as well as Tamara Larry has joined the party. She said she had to get some of this investment love in the stock markets as well. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And let's see who else got game over. I saw game over from Brian P. You're damn right it's game over. Game over in about 2.5 years is my prediction. I told you guys, 2027 to 2028. I think that's where the hiccup's coming, only because it's going to be, oh my God, I just realized May of next year, they're going to replace Powell. Oh my. That's going to be 2026. Wow. Because, yeah, and that's when they're going to reduce interest rates regardless of whatever. That's going to be bad. So, yeah, okay. That's going to be the timeline, 2027, 2028. So that's why you have to get everything together 1 year, 5 months. Reduce your debt, credit score 755 or 775 or higher. And you're going to have to be holding some stocks, and you're going to have to pay attention to the stock market. Pay attention to your investments. If you're in the stock market, a little bit of gold, a little bit of silver will come in handy about now as well, if you don't already have some. Platinum, palladium as well, copper as well. Crypto, because who knows what's going to happen, but XRP has come down. It's almost at $3 again. So pay attention to that. If it drops under 2, that would be a good sign. Bitcoin also down to 117-ish. Good sign. ETH down a little bit as well. So this is a great sign because we want it to drop so people can pick up a little bit of it, right? Got to have it because that's where this administration is going to run to. Keep in mind, we already have the casino of the stock market. There's another casino being formed now, and that's that crypto market that's generally been a casino for the scam artists, right? But now the federal government found a way. They're like, wait a minute, we can have people just buy coins. A coin is nothing. So all it costs us is electricity. We have electricity running all the time anyhow on the taxpayer's dime. So that's all we don't have to pay for anything other than just say we have a coin and have people buy it. I mean, you're going to pay for the blockchain fee, but so what? It's money you didn't have. So it's free money in essence and no oversight. So who's the money going to go to? Just saying. Asking for American citizens. I'm just saying. This is all bad. All right, hold on. Did I see something here? DI and Pals, why is your PA telling you that you won't get reductions for property tax and insurance? Is that your primary home? That doesn't smell right to me. It's in Philly. In the city of Philly? Damn. That's not good. Yes, my primary home, but Philly, man, is messed up. I know why they're doing it. Man, the Philly's been neglected this whole time, and now their city's going to try and act like they want to do something. That's crazy. So this is why his insurance and every year his taxes are going to go up every year from now on. Federal government's not giving that much assistance, if any. So yeah, there if he's in Philly, uh, yeah, yeah, man. Philly's Philly used to be so cool, man. When they had the uh man, I'm trying to think of they had football fields. Everything was like based on Liberty, the Liberty Bell, Ben Franklin, things like this, stadiums, centers. Everything was cool. Broad Street was cool. I don't know what it's like now. I haven't been to Philly in a long time. But I do know one thing: Philly has a infrastructure. Well, probably still does. Used to have an infrastructure problem. They don't want to fix up. So there's a lot of stuff going on: water, sewer, electricity. Man, it's crazy. Somebody's got to fix it. Yep, my primary home. Yeah, Philly's no joke. Do they even have revitalization happening in Philly? Philly's a different city. But oh well, man. Yeah, you're going to be locked in just like everybody else. California is going to be every state's going to be locked in. Prices are going to rise. There's no way around it. All that money, like the trillions of dollars they receive in taxes, they've already blew it. 1 trillion went to military industrial complex. Another trillion went to take away our health care for Medicare, Medicaid, and veterans of stuff and put in 650 million goes to building new prisons, and another 100 and some million goes to get some more ICE agents. There goes another trillion damn near to do nothing. This doesn't help American citizens at all. The military industrial complex, $2 trillion damn near, along with the ICE project and the prisons, which I thought we were doing deportations. I didn't know it was a capture and put in some facility. I thought you were capture and take out, even though I'm against it. But that's what you said you're going to do. Now, all of a sudden, I find out you're wasting damn near $800 million on new prisons and ICE agents. For what? You're taking away workers. So who's going to be out here on all these farms? I mean, I don't understand. Who's going to be processing our food? I'm pretty sure there's not going to be too many Americans that's going to want to work 6 or 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day in the middle of these fields. Rain, sleet, snow. I'm pretty sure a lot of people haven't grown up on the farms like me. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be wanting to go to the meat packing joint and slicing up animals, packaging them up. I'm pretty sure. And I damn sure know nobody's going to be doing this for $20, $25 an hour. So, I mean, this is where we're going, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Check out this news article. JP Morgan and Coinbase strike deal to link bank accounts and crypto wallets. See, there we go. There we go. First of all, we already had Plaid before. So the bank account linking thing, that's already happened. That's already a thing. Because when you had to open up your bank accounts or get your bank accounts now, and you use like a PayPal or Cash App or whatever, you have to link it up. So it's already in the system. This crypto wallet thing, hold on. Hold on. Hold the F on. Okay? Hold the F on. See, this is where they go, right? They're going to try and have access to your stuff. I keep telling you guys, they have to get money from everywhere because they were wasting money on nothing. Those $2 trillion. Okay, we could give, we can give $500 million to the military industrial complex. But what about the other 1.5, 1.1 million, 1 trillion? That could have been like a new high-speed trail system. I mean, this could have been free lunch and breakfast for kids going to K through 12. This could be roads, bridges, all infrastructure, the electrical grid, all of that being revamped. But instead, Stephen Miller, who works in this government, buys stock in prisons that they're giving federal money to. I mean, I can't believe we live in a third world country like this. You're going to give these guys $600 million 2, 3, 4 months ago. Oh, let me go buy some of that prison stock now because I'm in government. We're going to give them $600 million so they can build prisons. I guess their stock price is going to go up, right? This is what we're dealing with out here, ladies and gentlemen. All right. This is also why I'm demonetized. This is crazy. All right, man. This is just crazy. But don't worry. All of this activity, though, you have to be in the stock market to benefit from it. But do not sign up with your wallets. If you're going to be in the crypto game, you can't be doing all this crazy. I don't know what Coinbase is doing, trying to link up to people's wallets and doing all this crazy. All right, check out this news article about the Coinbase. Yeah, this is getting out of hand, man. Florida man earns 5-year sentence for 100 million telco fraud. Yeah, I saw it. I looked. In fact, I have it actually. I have the list. Hold on a second. I was just looking at some of this stuff. I was just shaking my head. Oh, by the way, thanks for sending me. Remember we were talking about Robinhood? We told you guys to get Robinhood. Earnings came out. Q2. I believe they're on fire. I didn't even look. I'm pretty sure it's on fire. JP Morgan plans charge for access to customer data for the fintech companies. Yeah, JP Morgan taking aim at fintech companies that plans to charge for customer bank data, which is crazy. They've been giving out our data to these freaking fintechs. These guys have been swapping our info. Scientists use quantum machine learning to create semiconductors for the first. It could transform how chips are made. Oh, this is one for the ages. It could transform how chips are made. Live science researchers have found a way to make the chip design and manufacturing process much easier by tapping into a hybrid blend of artificial intelligence and quantum computing. Uh-oh. The race is on. Can you guys imagine? Where are these scientists? I hope they're in the USA. I'm hoping they're in the USA. Yeah, I see the $100 million fraud. Bank news. That's JP Morgan. Bitcoin ETF. Institutional investors will now be able to redeem shares for BTC. What the heck? Well, now what? Hold on. We gotta go look at this. Redemptions. The Securities and Exchange Commission has approved in-kind creations and redemptions for crypto-based exchange traded funds. What? In kind, in case you guys, usually that means if I can I use BTC? If I load up BTC, that means I can withdraw in BTC. If I use USD, meaning bank to bank, then they're going to send it back to me bank to bank. Wow. Yeah, previously, spot Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs approved by the regulator were limited to creations and redemption on an in cash basis, preventing investors from exchanging shares of an ETF for its underlying tokens. Oh, yeah, you think? That's what should have happened. This other thing, oh, this is full blown. This is bad. Okay, for everybody, it's good. But when it implodes, it's going to be bad. That's all I'm saying. Because now you have to understand there has to be a liquidity pool, right? Where's the liquidity pool going to be? So you have to understand, in case you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, I load up 5 million in crypto. I load up 5 million in USD cash. The value of the currency goes up. Let's say 7 million. The cash does not go up. But now 6 million want USD. 1 million people or 1 million worth of it cannot be shipped because we only have 5 million. That means we have to have more money in the pool. And vice versa. Somebody says, well, I want 2 million in crypto. Well, it isn't here anymore. So what are they going to do? Have pools too? That's insane. That's insane. That's really insane. All right. The Florida CEO telco Q-Link will spend up to 5 years in jail after attempting to steal more than 100 million from the U.S. government programs. In Florida, again, Rick Scott rips people off. He's a senator. This dude, 5 years in jail or less. The guys that did the two other Medicare frauds in Florida got pardoned, owing $40 million to victims and the federal government, and they get pardons. They were from Florida. What the hell's going on, man? This is craziness right now. Q-Link agreed to settle a case with the Federal Communications Commission over claims that it fudged records to claim millions from the Lifeline scheme, which arranges discounted phone services. Of course, that's all they do, it seems, down there. Crypto being accepted for mortgage applications will be a game changer. Also, companies to offer crypto on their 401k accounts, another game. I know. Post-retirement travel, again, this is to inflate again. I understand what they're doing, but they're using this is not good guys thinking, oh yeah, this will be good. No, what they're doing is they realize they hold all of the cards. All these institutions already exist. They're figuring out a way to get money in that's not even money. And they're going to act like it's money. And they're going to use it as like it's money, and they're going to do derivatives like it's money. So they're going to have more money under assets under management. They're going to have millions. And you know what happens next? They're going to sell some of the paper. They're going to go get loans. They're going to do all kinds of stuff. They're going to leverage it. And so if the crypto goes down, what if it goes down 30%, which is known to happen unless they use stable coins, but stable coins has to be backed by something as well. I just see nothing but it's a shell game. They're just expanding more ways for them to actually take advantage of having assets under management and then doing some other financial business. That's the way I see it, because that's obviously what this is to me. This is not business as usual. And we're not going to be holding the keys, by the way. You're not going to be holding the keys once you give your money to them. So, I mean, this could get crazy. And you already see people stealing money all over the place. I'm not expecting these guys to be all good. As they say, I'll take 100 million. I'll sit down for 5 years, white collar prison. I'll be out. And you could say restitution 100 million, but that don't mean nothing because it's in crypto and offshore. Who cares? I'm like, this is crazy. Can't get it back. And if it was US dollars, you can't get it back. They already shipped it somewhere. I was watching something today came up. The guy that Ignite Ignite Cannabis. God, what was that guy's name? Played poker with them. Oh shit, asshole. Anyhow, he's a trust fund kid. He denies I'm not a trust fund kid. I'm like, dude, come on, you can't even play poker that good. And all this money you're wasting acting like you can play is laughable. So where are you getting the money from? Come to find out, his dad was like one of these uh, Wall Street types, and he embezzled tens of millions of dollars, and it's offshore. He went to jail, his dad. And then his dad parked some of the money. They never were able to get any money from him, but he lives in a nice ass, 7,000 square foot house, and saying he's broke, but he has money. He just parked it offshore. And so when they did Ignite, his dad actually was kind of like running it from behind the scenes and funding it, which he's not supposed to be doing. He's banned from being an officer of any corporation. But he wasn't an officer. They were calling him a consultant. But the United States is looking at it like he's an officer because he actually, like, they're in meetings. Hey, this is what you need to do. So they're trying to go with that aspect of it. So it's very interesting. Again, you're going to have people who are going to do stuff. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't want to be on too long tonight, but the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell comes out, says his piece. People ask questions. They do what we kind of figure they're going to do. They didn't reduce it. They did the only thing that made sense because they were going to play safe, and that is do nothing and let the markets play themselves. So nobody can blame anybody. You can't blame the Fed, although we already know the administration is going to say, well, see, he didn't reduce the interest rate, so therefore this is what happened. But I just want you guys to know here, you guys can look it up and study it. But the real deal is if inflation, it is moving up. So if they would have reduced the interest rates and you have tariffs kicking in on April 1st, and you have all the rest of the tariffs kicking in, and you have now higher inflation, and you would have created more inflation. That's how it works. So if you think 3.1% is bad, wait till 2 months would have went by and they reduced the rate because inflation probably would have went to 4. That's how rapidly it would move. So that's why they didn't do it. It's that simple. You're supposed to, you only reduce interest rates when the economy's in trouble. You increase the federal funds rate when the economy is good. You don't want to burn out the economy. So that's what people don't understand. So when Trump's going to reduce the interest rate, that means the economy's not doing good. True. All signs show economy's not doing good. This is why the Federal Reserve said, hold up. We can't live with 3.1% inflation rate. We can't live with manufacturing jobs under 50% on the PMI, under 50. That means we're having a contraction in manufacturing jobs. So that's already there. We're under 50. All the signs are here that there's a problem. So they can't reduce the interest rate. Jobs and layoffs are coming. So, you know, they go employment's 4%, 4.1%. Well, you can call it whatever you want, but the real deal is the jobs that pay people livable wages, those are the ones people can't get. The people who are qualified to earn 100,000, 90,000, 130, they can't get jobs. We have social media. You guys can just Google people can't get jobs and you can hear all the stories. This isn't like five people. This is millions. There's no jobs. It's very hard if you have a $100,000 job and then somebody says, here's a $45,000 job and you have an expense problem, right? So you can easily say either they can't take the job, or even if they take the job, now they're still underwater. So I guess that's what people would have to do. But they're calling that a job and saying 4.1% full employment. And I'm like, that's not how you can call it whatever you want. But if people can't pay their bills, then that means there's fallout on the other side. That means groceries aren't being purchased, childcare is not being used, and extra money's not available. So there's no investing in anything. So there's just a downhill spiral for everybody. The teeter totter switched up and people are sliding down because there's only a few at the top, because it's heavier at the bottom. That's literally how the economy goes, just like a teeter totter. If you don't have the bottom 50% doing well, then the top can't do well because it would be level. But soon as you start sliding 10% on this side of the fence that's not doing well, all of a sudden the guys over here that's left, they start going up. And then all of a sudden another 10% moves over, 70% are down here. Now it starts rising even higher. Now all of a sudden 80% are down there, and it's sitting there where the person at the top, those guys are all by themselves while the rest of the guys at the bottom are fighting amongst the scraps. And there's hardly any scraps. So that's what's happening right now under our feet. That's why we have 1 year and 5 months to go. Overnight trading on fuego. I agree. Accounts to explode by tomorrow morning, going up as we speak, ready for launch. Yeah, you know what? I feel like a broken record because we knew it was going to be launched all along. It's going to be a launch for 1 year, 5 months. We know this. We started out over 2 years, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be down to 1 year, 4 months in 3 days. So there's still plenty of time. Plenty of time. December 2026, plenty of time to get your act together. Buy shares of stock. Make sure you get this run up and keep in mind an exit strategy. How much is your run up? Is it double? Is it triple? What's your run up where you started, hey, I don't want to lose what it's ran up to? The Federal Reserve works for you if you're an investor. Don't sit on the sideline if you have disposable income. Stop buying liabilities. Stop buying liabilities, all right? That coffee you're buying, hey, substitute. Go down to beachfrontjava.com and get some of our own Professor, Auntie Val, and families. Use the promo code SSN Lifestyle. Coffee and tea is there, and there's no excuse. You want to get a Keurig? She's got it. You want to get the fine ground, drip ground? She's got it. You want the whole beans and bring your own little crusher? She's got it. Half-pound bags to 5-pound bags. So Order from beachfrontjava.com. Use the promo code SSN Lifestyle, all caps, all one word. After your first order, you receive a discount. And of course, we're going to talk about the best beans in the world are from Africa, Central America, South America, and Indonesia. She has it. And tea as well, the healing power of tea. She has it. So go there to beachfrontjava.com, show some love. It's our own. All right. That's why. Ready for launch? We've been ready for launch. And quite frankly, I can't say enough. Everybody here, thank you so much because we have investors in the group who gave out information. I don't know everything. Like I said, Brian P, post-retirement travel, a year and a half ago, they're the ones that was saying it actually almost 2 years ago as it comes out. It was at the end of a year and about a year and 10 months. One of them said, "Hey, what about UMax ETF?" I was like, "I never heard of it." They only had like two or three stocks at the time, and it was some option income stuff. I was like, this is some new thing, fly by night thingy. And then one of them then said it a few months later. And then I was like, okay, let me see. And then they had like 4 or 5 ETFs, but it was still relatively new. It was some new concept, option income trading with ETFs. But then it was like a few months later, a year and a half ago, then it was like, hold on. It's on. This stuff is like 60, 70, 30, 50, 100% distributions. Woo. It's on ever since. Caught on. And there's a lot of people winning. And on Fuego, when we're on fire, ladies and gentlemen, and a lot of people were able to get stocks at a 30, 40, 50% price decline when everything hit the fan in April of this year. You always have a chance. That's why you can sit on the sidelines if you want and wait for some crash and boom, bang. But the thing is, if you were here in April and you should not have sat on the sidelines because it was nothing but buy as the stock market dropped to 52-week lows for almost all shares. So you had your pick. And to have Meta, Microsoft, all the Magnificent Seven, the Googles, the Amazons, all these guys, we said it then. I'm going to keep saying it. You need to invest in any of those top 7. All right. Magnificent Sevens. And then pick some other ones that you like that may give you dividend money. We need dividend money. We don't just need appreciation. Like we have people who are going to double their money in NVIDIA in the next 2 or 3 days because their average price of their stock is only $80, only $85, only $90. So they get to double their money in 4 months. So it's probably going to go higher because, again, everybody says $200 to $250 is what their price targets are. Let's call it what it is. Join the party. I think it was at 183 today, which is crazy. So that means whoever bought at 80, no, that's 90. $91.50. If your average price is that, you've doubled your money. Just saying. Microsoft's on the move. Meta's on the move. VOO, that means VOO, VOOG, VGT, VTI. All those are going to be out. SPY, QQQ, all of those ETFs are going to rise. They're weighted. All right. Agree. We deserve to enjoy this ride up, especially after taking the L with Crypto Miracle. That's right. Crypto Miracle, Hector, Cypress. There's one more. The one that had 2 or 3% crypto. I can't remember the name of it. Oh, Debt Box. Yeah, exactly. We could not win anything in crypto. And that's, of course, when we stopped almost 2 years ago and told everybody, get the BTC, get the Ethereum only. And that's been one hell of a ride as well. Come on now. Raise the roof. We've been doing the damn thing on some fronts. Come on now. In fact, you know what's funny? Even though we did the little bit of stuff on the crypto, and that turned into disaster. The funny part is that little kibbles and bits ended up being peanuts compared to how much profit has been made over the last 2 years in the stock market. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's insane. If somebody told you that you could do like 25, 35, 40% 2 years back, 3 years back, they'd have said you're lying. Of course, they would have said you're lying because there was no yield max ETFs. I mean, let's get real. That has gone a long way, quite frankly, for me. All right. Nvidia as well, TSM as well. These type of stocks. We've got SoFi as well. All these things that happened in 3, 4 years back, people don't realize that's been marinating, and all of them were under $100. They were all like 50, $60. Now these things are 200, 250. Nvidia split, and now it's back up to 180. So I mean, all kind of things happen where if you were in the game, you've more than outweighed those L's that we took. So on fire is right. So we're here at the right time. You're here at the right time. Make sure the podcast, guys, make sure you share it. Hit the stars. Hit that heart button, the like button, the check mark button, the finger button, whatever button. Make sure you guys hit it no matter where you're listening from. So the YouTube gods, Twitch gods, Facebook gods, podcasts, iHeart, iRadios, everybody, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, everybody. Get some love. All right, I'm going to run out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready for more excitement on Friday night because I'm pretty sure the rocket ship is going to last another couple of days, and I'm pretty sure new records on the stock market tomorrow and probably Friday too. So I guess Jerome Powell and the Board of Governors did the right thing, as they should. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me know if there's anything else you want to discuss. Uh, there's something that came out too about cruise on land. We talked about person in our group, SSN Lifestyle, on WhatsApp, gave us that note about the $700 million deal for cruise on land, allegedly. And still, they had the same article, the 6,000 hotel units. And I still don't have clarification on where those 6,000 units are. I think the 6,000 units that they're referring to are the condos. Originally, there was 4,400 condos, but I think they added 2 more levels. I think it was a 5-level place. Now I think it's a 7. So I think those extra, there's 18. No, I keep saying 18. I think there's 15 sections, and I don't know how many rooms are on a floor, but there's 3, no, 2, well, L-shaped buildings. So I don't know how many units, but I guess I can only guess there's probably 40. So 40 times 15 times 2. So there goes your other 12. Yeah, 1,200 units. That'd be about right. That would get us at 5,600. So I think they're talking about the condos people bought, and they're calling them condo hotels. That's what kind of worried me. I'm like, somebody who owns a cruise on land, you need to find out what those 6,000 hotel units they're talking about, because I don't like that wording, especially if you're a buyer there and you think you own a condo, and now you're finding out you own a timeshare or a condo hotel. That's much different than owning your own condo. That means you have rules and regulations. So you need to know that. Agree. We deserve to enjoy this ride. I want to read this again, especially after taking the L's. That's right. We cannot win them all with Crypto Miracle, the dude from Cyprus, and Hector Coin. Yep, Miracle. That's right. And also, I took an L on oh man, InstaVid AI. Took an L on that too. All the crypto was L's. Meta has increased 11.6. I know, man. I know. Isn't that sick? Isn't that sick? That is sick. Oh, wait, how did they do that? That popped up on my screen. How did that happen? How did that happen? Let me see. I can't figure that out. Okay. Microsoft 8.1. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is why you have the VOOs. This is why you have the SPYs and QQQs, because that increase, they have bought into this. Now they increase, but you would rather have the stock, right? Because the stock's going to do 11.6. And most people be happy with 11.6 increase for the entire year. This is going to keep going. Microsoft, too, the earnings report were excellent. The cloud was excellent. This is insane. If you didn't have these two in your portfolio, you're hating life now. Exactly. But you didn't have to have those two. You could have had VOO, VOOG, VTI, could have had those. Not going to get the effects of 11.6, but that's better than nothing. You got to love it, ladies and gentlemen. So I think all the people who were against Jerome Powell and the governors, now look at you. Now look at you. Now you're happy, right? I'm glad you now get off the train that the guy who said, "Oh, it's bad you didn't reduce the interest rate. I'm going to fire you." Why are you going to fire an expert? He knows what he's doing. Give the man credit. And what I don't, you know what? Trump actually appointed Powell. That's why I'm like, hold on, you appointed the dude. Him and his board of governors have been doing one hell of a job because the economy should have crashed after COVID. And they did a softest landing that was even possible at the time. With two chances, American citizens were able to buy at 52-week lows in the stock market. What more can you ask for? Twice you had a chance. Usually you don't have a chance at all for 10 years because stock prices usually go up until there's a recession. But he has two chances in less than 5 years. You had two chances to do damage on the stock market. Just had to be in. So again, the guys are doing the best they can with the best they can do. All I have to say is, can you guys imagine if there was no tariffs? Can you imagine if there was no turmoil? Can you imagine if there was no inflation? What would be going on right now? I can. I can. Could you imagine what would have been? This would have been off the charts already further because we would have had today, we're reducing the interest rates. And if you think it went like this today, imagine if they would have said, we're going to reduce the interest rates and the economy was in a good place. Then this stuff would be child's play. This would have been 11.6 a few months back. We would be in 15 to 20% territories because stability is what matters. So just keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. But hey, Jerome Powell and the Board of Governors, I don't know why somebody talking about firing them. Well, one of them anyhow. Powell, I don't know why. Who's saying that? Have you lost your mind? That's craziness right now, right? We're sitting over here doing the salsa dance on a Wednesday. 11% on Magnificent Seven stocks. By the morning, tomorrow it's going to be over 12 to 15. I wouldn't be surprised in the first 5 minutes it's going to hit like 15% or 14%. And another rocket ship and another record high tomorrow, by the way, on the stock market indexes. Two of them, 2 out of 3 for sure. All right. I don't know what to tell you guys. Get your free apps to get your free stocks down below in the description box. No matter where you're watching from, if you got a description box, that's where it'll be. Also, don't forget, there's nothing wrong with buying into ETFs. I gave you SPY, QQQ. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with the Vanguard groups. They have the less, usually the cheapest funds because their expense ratio is low. Um, but everybody wins. I mean, long as you're in, you win. All right. Well, this is great news, everybody. So I'm gonna wrap it up. Hopefully, I'll see you on Friday night, and you know what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be doing the salsa dance because we have MSTY, SMCY giving us $1 plus per share just this month, just like last month. I'm just saying, just like next month, because we're gonna have a mad rush of stocks going up, which a lot of option income trading's going down. That's what's gonna happen. Who knows? Powell has a chance to stay beyond 2026. The same chance of me joining the NBA. Exactly. Also, I need my rebate. Nah, man, we don't need the rebate. Oh man, that's funny. We don't need the $600. Um, no, that just causes inflation. We don't need none of that. We need to get our inflation down, our debt down. Imagine if we were able to get our debt down. Oh my God. Oh, that's only wishful thinking. I'm talking about our federal deficit of now $41 trillion. Imagine if it was going in the other direction. That would have been, oh man, that'd be so awesome. Yeah, they're not going to make him stay because they can't control them. And I don't really know if you can control the chairman or not because the board of governors, they have power. The governors have power. So it's not part of the government. So he can appoint who he wants, but the chairman does not speak for the governors when they come to, like, it was a 9-2 vote today. 9 people voted to have it stay. 2 people voted to reduce it, right? Because they're looking for the job. Um, so that's the situation. I mean, you got that type of voting. You got 11 people. So what are you going to do? It's a 9-2 vote to have a stay, and then you're going to get up there and be like, "Well, I'm just going to reduce the interest rates." They're going to be like, "Nah, it ain't working." So it's going to be a very interesting dynamic if we're going to have another takeover of a government agency, or actually, it's not government agency, another takeover of a company or something by our federal government. That is not a good precedent that we're setting here. So just keep that in mind. That's why on the other side of this, make sure you preserve your assets. So on the other side of this, when you get your 50, 100, 120, 200% increases over the next year, year and a half, do not lose it because that's going to be the most valuable assets you have amongst other assets. If you own businesses that make money, if you own properties that make money, if you have anything offshore that does the same, those are going to be the assets that are going to matter. You're going to have something that can generate money, and you're going to have to be able to park this money somewhere. Because what's going to happen is you could lose out to inflation because that's where we're going 2 years from now, 2.5 years from now. Even whoever's running the Fed won't be Jerome Powell. So they're not going to be able to do the soft landings. They're not going to be doing none of that. All right. So just keeping it real. You're not going to have a safety net by reasonable people. So you're going to have to save up whatever gains you have. You're going to have to play it cautious after 1 year and 5 months. All right. And I forgot again, May of next year, we're going to have a change at the chairman situation. So that's going to wreak a little havoc prematurely. But we'll be in a good place because we have 9 months to go. And by then, they would have reduced the rate. Well, hopefully. Um, and the housing market can get off the mat. But those are liabilities. Remember, homes are liabilities, all right? Okay. 1,000 for self-deportation and a check. We don't have money. Just saying. We don't have money. We're broke. $41 trillion in the pipeline. $41 trillion deficit already in the pipeline. Um, No, that's probably not true. What it is it's fake. They're just going to get there. They're just going to deport them because apparently they say we pay you after you leave or something. It's not coming. We don't have money, so I don't know. And especially, I thought they said there was millions. Has anybody done 1 million, 2 million people deported at $1,000? I mean, we're talking $2 billion. Just saying, a little more than that. Think we got six, uh, six, nine. We got 9 zeros. 9 zeros. All right. So that's not a good number just for 2,000 people. I mean, 2 million. 2 million. What's that? Times 1,000. 2 billion. That's what it is. So there you go. We don't have the money. So I don't know, man. All right. That ends the night. So Federal Reserve did the right thing after all. The stock market has reacted positively as I figured. And I also think it would have acted positively if they actually would have raised the interest rate. But it would, I don't know what would have happened if it went down because that would have been like, uh, everybody that knows anything, they would have been like, man, what is the bond market doing? Because depending on what happened with that, then it would be like, whew, it didn't go drop or did it go up to 4.8? Then people would start panicking. All right. Well, right now we're in a good place. We can smile about it. But don't worry, this fight's a long way to go because I'm pretty sure there's going to be some pressure, but I don't know. That pressure may be alleviated after the all time record highs tomorrow. And so people can celebrate. But just remember, we have an underlying current that calls for crumble. So just keep that in mind. So don't rejoice, but pay attention. Stick to the grind. Make sure that we win. You win. You're in the house where you can win. And again, this is the SSN Nation. Stop struggling now. We can try to help you here. Go do your homework. So I want to thank you guys for being here, and I love you guys very much. I appreciate your support over all these years. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. Some people are going, Eric, you're all happy and giddy, but I have barely anything to invest. Well, that's okay. 1 year and 4 months is a long time. When you go out and get your bottled water, get your cups of coffee, get your fast food or whatever you're eating for lunch instead of bringing your own lunches, or going that entertainment that you're doing, that disposable income that you're wasting on entertainment or gambling or drinking in the backyard. Just think of this. Every time you give out $10, what if you could get back $5 for life? Start thinking about every time you spent $100, $500 because you're going out hanging in the VIP room every Friday and Saturday being Mr. Big Shot. What if that meant $250 every time for life every year? So when you start thinking in those terms over the next few years, maybe that will get you to say, hold up, I could buy $500 worth of stock. And because I know about UMX ETFs, hold up now. I could actually start having some dividends coming in on monthly or weeklies. Or I would just do the real estate investment trust, ORC, AGNC, which again, these are high risk because they're at 17%, 18% dividends. You know, ARR, IVR, because Joe Nay's not here, high risk. I remember that from the other day. I forgot all about IVR. There's also others, but these are high risk. PSEC dropped to down almost 3%. I think they're at their 52-week low because they're prospect capital. They need the interest rate to go down. See you in September. All right. All right. I don't know what's going to happen in September because inflation is going to go higher than it is now in the next 2 months. So I don't see how they can't raise the rate. I just I think I don't really like this see you in September thing. I would have preferred he said see you in August. I don't want them to wait 2 months because this month of July is probably going to have that reading 3.1 or 3%. And then the reading is going to be higher for just core inflation in August. And that'll be September when their meeting comes. And if this thing gets out of hand, we got problems. FBI agents get revenge. Okay, that's some propaganda stuff. Um, that's something. All right. Well, I'm going to get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, I'll see you on Friday night. We'll have more salsa dance going on, more happiness going down because not only have the stocks went up, now people have gotten their dividend checks or know what the dividend amount's going to be, and they know payouts are coming either on Monday or Friday, and now they can make investments accordingly to what they want to do if they're not just on auto reinvest. So there's going to be a lot of activity going on over the next few days. August 1st is Friday. Will tariffs be implemented, or is it going to be another one of those? Hold up. I don't really want to go there yet because I know what's going to happen, right? It could be one of them. Keep the rally going. Remember, billionaires are billionaires' friends. They own 93% of the stock market. So they're calling up going, hey, man, this is a good thing. So might as well take credit for it. All right. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. I'll see you on Friday night, 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time, and hopefully you will join us on the salsa dance. And with all that said, make sure you're the CEO of your life because this is your chance to be an emerging millionaire in the making. And with all that said, make sure no matter what you do, stay safe, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.